Welcome, 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 everyone, to another Universal Citizen Media Live. I still hear music in the background, Robert. Welcome, 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 everyone, to a exciting Universal Citizen Media Live show. Robert, are you there?
I am in the studio.
We had in
Little
the
technical
studio, and I
difficulties
made
today.
yes, the whole time change thing that hasn't had a time change yet. So we're going to let people come and get settled into the room. So the last show, I read a kid's story about soft disclosure and disclosure in generality for kids. I would like to get some feedback. So as everyone's coming into the chat room here, click on that participants button. And you will be, sorry, not participants, that chat button. And then you will be able to learn how to raise your hand and lower your hand. We use our Zoom platforms for a specific purpose. It is where we choose our people who are going to be callers. It's where we can give information and data also in the chat room. If you are listening on live on Facebook, on YouTube, or Twitch, or Periscope, if you want to be a caller into the show, you must sign up at andrewbartzis.com, and you'll be part of the email list, which will give you instructions of how to get into the Zoom room. Now, these shows that we do are sometimes theme specific. Tomorrow, we'll be having Chris Chappelle on, talking more about Qigong, standing practice, and how it can help the body and health and wellness. So I want to open up the call lines, Robert. Let's spin that wheel of caller and see who's got some exciting questions for us and determine if anybody did any of their homework and decided to write a disclosure story for kids. All right, Robert, let's open that wheel of caller.
Okay, our first caller will be Darshani. Pardon me if I'm not pronouncing that right. You're unmuted with Andrew.
Darshani, are you there? Hello?
We're having a technical time unmuting her. Hello? There we go.
Hi, Andrew. Hello?
We can hear you, Darshani. I don't hear Andrew. Andrew, you there?
Oh.
I am here. Can you hear me now?
There we go.
Yes.
Where are you calling from today, darling?
Hi, Andrew. I'm calling from Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Oh, welcome to the show. What did you want to talk about today?
Thank you. Andrew, I've just heard you speaking, you giving so much information for so many years, and I've always wanted you to read me a little.
Okay.
Yeah, anything that you can tell me. Everything you say is valuable.
Okay, so how long have you been listening for?
I would say maybe 6 years.
6 years, a long time.
A long time with the Lance videos, the Galactic historian.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what about my content has connected to you over the last 6 years?
Well, just, the history our souls have, through the whole cosmos and through so many different paradigms and just so many things. It's just opened my mind a lot. And I feel more connected to my soul. Yeah, a lot about the contract removals were very valuable for me.
What would you say the material has done for you as motivation, inspiration? Has it opened up new levels of awareness or a job for you?
It's allowed me to trust myself more. And, I've always been extremely intuitive, and it's made me very insecure. But, just hearing how you speak your truth and how you're just so aligned with yourself. And,
so it comes with practice. It comes with practice and responsibility too. Mm-hmm. So like what I do is there's about 20 hours of ceremonial practice I do every month to maintain the amount of radio shows, the communications that I have, and that's the inner work, the outer work. And the general work, which includes a business, you know, that has to have energies cleared out of it, just as anything. So let me ask this, what do you do for a job?
I'm an artist and I'm also a psychic.
Okay. How long have you been doing the psychic stuff for?
About 25 years.
Okay. And
Yeah.
have you been charging the whole time, or have you been having a challenge charging people?
I've been charging. I mean, in the beginning, I charged $40 an hour. That was a long time ago. Now I charge 100. But you know, I've actually stopped doing that because it became a bit too much for me. And now I'm just focusing on my art.
Okay. So I'm going to get to you giving you the information you're looking for, but some of these probative questions, because you have a set of angelic guides around you right now that, for lack of better words, don't take this as negative, are disappointed that you're not doing your psychic work. Disappointed. Okay. Don't see that as negative, because angelic beings, you have free will, and just because they made to be disappointed doesn't mean anything. It's just they were expecting you to take a different route. When you left the psychic world, what were you peaking at? How many sessions a month were you saying you're doing?
About let's say like 25 a month.
That's
25.
a lot.
Yeah.
You were right on the cusp of having, let's just say, your psychic muscles really, really expand. So when you left the psychic work, what was your choice of leaving, and then what did you end up doing to, you know, balance the cash that was coming in?
Well, I sort of
because right now your abundance energies are not balanced. You have a lot of imbalances in you as you made the shift away from them.
Yes. Well, I just made the shift like 3 months ago. I just, you know, stopped all my readings because I was having health problems, and I'm just relying on my husband at the moment and my art.
Okay. What health problems?
I was having a lot of digestive issues. I feel like I wasn't able to process and clear my clients properly. You know, I was taking on a lot from them.
All right, I believe there's something different going on. Very, very different going on there.
Okay.
I just want to say this. What style of art do you do?
I do watercolor, and I paint flowers, like large flowers, and like angels and fairies, deities. I'm also working on a tarot deck. Yeah.
Okay. Can I be blunt?
Yes.
Can I be blunt?
Please. Yes.
You choosing to go to do the artist was a massive step backwards for you. Okay. A massive step backwards. And I think you really need to examine the woman that made the choice and realize there's a very young girl who, in metaphor, is having a temper tantrum about the level of success you're getting as a psychic. And there was a battle inside you which created the digestive issues. You want to be recognized as an artist. Well, to be recognized as an artist, art comes in many forms. And right now, you doing fairies and watercolors is a giant step back for you. Okay. You're not drawing the angelic beings of your clients. You're not upping your arts level and intertwining it with your psychic frequencies. Okay.
Yeah.
You've been doing psychic work for 20 plus years. You have a lot of unused energies that were given to you by clients because in an unawareness, you didn't really know what they could do for you back.
Okay.
And there are very young things inside us that force choices. Okay?
Yes.
And I think you forced yourself into this choice.
Yes.
And I think you need to unchoose it. And part of the unchoosing is rededicating your art to not just being an artist who was an ex-psychic, because that's a trauma for you right now.
It is, yeah, it actually is. You're right.
Okay? It's a trauma.
Yeah.
And when I look at the angelic beings that are there, they're like traffic directors, traffic directing cops. The best way I can describe them. And their purpose is to direct traffic to you. Okay? And you were right on a level where there was about to be an 8-lane traffic freeway directed your way of clients, observers, people that would want your work. And you kind of just shot yourself in the foot.
Yes. Yes. Andrew, that's so true. And I felt, I mean, my parents and my whole family, they're also sort of like in the spiritual field. They're like authorities, and they never or they didn't want to acknowledge my abilities, and I sort of felt pressured by them to stop doing my psychic work. And so I didn't do it totally from myself.
Which is why I'm saying that there's a very young person inside you who chose, I'm going to forgive the emotions, but I'm just going to be a fluttery watercolor artist and draw fairies in unicorns and forget about the world.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a temper tantruming 7-year-old ruining your life in you.
Okay. That's such a good way to look at it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a temper tantruming 7-year-old.
Okay.
How do you beat it? How do you beat it?
Yeah.
How do you beat a temper tantruming 7-year-old?
I guess I acknowledge the hurt maybe, and then just take charge and say, okay, I don't know, I guess acknowledge that it's a temper tantrum from a wounded part of myself.
Okay, so let's say a client was in front of you, and let's say that client just left a really high-paying job to go to a boyfriend who you know is absolutely wrong. Okay? What would you say?
I would say,
what would you say to them?
I would say, get a grip. This person is not good for you, and examine the choices why. Maybe why they're going to the boyfriend. Andrew, I don't know. I'm at loss.
Okay. I want you to see the watercolor fairy art as the bad boyfriend. I'm not putting you down as an artist at all. Okay. You just have to learn to make art a part of. You have to learn to make art a part of your psychic world.
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever been to psychic fairs and see psychics that just their whole reading of you is doing an art picture of you?
Yes.
You should be doing that. That should be on your menu of services.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I really want you to dissect the temper tantruming child in you.
Okay.
Okay. Now the next thing here is the intestinal issues you have are doubt, are all doubt in your abilities.
Yes.
And it's the doubt that has come to you from friends and family for 20 plus years.
Yes.
And when you quit, you let the doubt win.
Yeah. Yes.
How do you take it back now? How do you take it back?
I felt that I needed to have the blessings of my parents in order to do this, because they're in the spiritual line of work, and I felt like I needed their blessings to continue, and I didn't get their blessings, and so I felt I don't have the right to do this type of work.
You absolutely have the right. You never need a permission from anyone to act. Okay? So that temper tantruming child is also revealing a wound between you and your parents.
Yes.
Okay, here's something you might not know. I have two older brothers, a mom and a dad, cousins, uncles. Not one person in my family has listened to more than a few hours of my material in 9 years.
Wow.
Okay, I can't bring up my conversations at the dinner table because they're Greek Orthodox, they're science. Doesn't matter the layer of fame and success I have.
Yeah.
I will get zero approval from them. And it took me a long time to get over that. But once I did, it changed my relationship with them and myself.
Okay.
And
What do your parents do in the spiritual community?
they're well-known yoga teachers and spiritual leaders.
Okay. Is that what you
in
want
the
to do
yoga
too?
world.
Be a spiritual leader? Do you want a spiritual leader?
I want to help people. I want to help them find their own power, and that is spiritual. I don't want to be a spiritual leader like the way my parents are, but I want to help people in their own like belief in themselves.
You've been doing that the last 20 years as a psychic.
Yes.
So what makes you think you're not doing it right now? You're not a spiritual leader for the people that need you.
Yes, because I also include my psychic work in it. My parents don't do that, and they don't believe in, like these psychic abilities.
Bullshit.
I guess I'm
yes,
giving
they
them.
do. Bullshit. Listen, your parents believe in it. They're just not letting you know.
Yeah.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
They're doing yoga. They have absolutely seen magical people transform.
Mm-hmm.
And if not, they're doing yoga wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So let's delve a little deeper.
Okay.
Growing up, did you really want to be an emulation of your parents? What did you want to do when you were growing up?
I grew up in a yoga ashram actually, and I just wanted to be in the temple and do pujas, and I had a very strong connection with Krishna. I mean, like a very real one. For me, it wasn't something paranormal or anything. It was a very real connection that I felt, and I wanted just to be able to live in that.
So you never really got to be a kid?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Do you have children?
I have 2 children, yes. They're grown up.
Okay. Would you have them to grown up the same lifestyle in the ashram as you did?
I would have wanted them to experience that because that was the best time in my life when I was growing up, being in the ashram, because the energy was so high. There was so much like art and meditation and like real connection.
Can I be blunt? You never got to be a kid, and that's a trauma. And that's why you're rebelling. Your inner child's rebelling now.
Yes. I never got to be a kid with my parents. Yeah.
No, you never got to be a kid at all. At all. Can you see that in this moment?
Yes.
Okay. This is why when you gave up the psychic work 3 months ago, you gave up on so much else, because being a psychic is what allowed you to be your inner kid the last 20 years.
Yes, that's true.
Huh? Embrace it.
Okay.
Embrace it. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you ever get to oddly color your hair growing up? Or was
No.
there strict things in the way? No. Okay? That's what I'm trying to say. It's a trauma. All these years later, it's a trauma.
Yeah.
So now let me give you another layer here. So how do I put this one? You're still looking for approval from your parents.
Absolutely.
And if your parents have not recognized you need approval, there is a significant issue in the relationship.
Yes. Yeah.
And this goes for anyone else that's out there. I mean, her parents may be up in the spiritual community. It doesn't matter if you're low in the community whatsoever. If you're not recognizing that, and it's blatantly obvious over how many decades? Why? Why do you think they can't give you approval?
Because it creates a hole in their teachings.
That would devalidate their work.
Yes.
So are you ever going to get approval from them?
No, I've realized that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But there's still parts of you who are looking for deep approval.
Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So your inner work is now deconstructing the need for approval.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever run into another client that has something similar? Like they're overly attached to their parents, they can't let go of their parents?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, I do get that. Yeah, it's a
What do you
reflection.
tell them? It's not always a reflection.
Mm.
Not always a reflection.
Mm-hmm. I tell them that, their parents are not capable of, because of where their parents are at, they're not capable really of seeing the needs.
But your parents are fully capable.
They are.
Okay?
Yeah. They just
Which
don't want
compounds your
to.
trauma.
Yeah.
No, it compounds your trauma. It's not about want for them. They're still oblivious.
Uh-huh.
Because they have an expectation that you will fall in turn and take over their version of reality. But you didn't.
Yeah.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So there are still temper tantrum children inside your parents, unhealed aspects.
Mm-hmm.
So have you ever decided to, become a psychic yoga instructor just to put it in their face?
No, I don't think so.
Why not?
Because I would not be able to handle their criticism and their wrath, I believe. Yeah.
What does their criticism matter if you're never going to get their approval?
There is a lot of trauma, Andrew. Yes, there is. And I become very weak around my family and my parents because of
Because
it.
it's an ancestral de-evolution for you.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Not an evolution, a de-evolution.
De-evolution.
My advice for you is you got to do the inner work on the inner child who's never going to get the approval, and know that your parents are capable of giving approval, but they're not going to.
Okay.
They're just choosing to be teachers before parents.
Yes, that's true. Mm-hmm.
Which has been the trauma for you since the time of the ashram.
Mm-hmm.
They're not your parents, they're teachers.
Okay.
End your relationship with them as teachers and continue a relationship as parents, and absolutely integrate yoga into your sessions. I think you should go back to work right away, offer a new set of menu of services where people can come and do an hour of yoga with you and have an hour session, or you can do the session while they're stretching. And let me tell you something, you'll get some really amazing sessions out of people when they're actually moving their bodies.
Yes, true.
Okay?
Thank
everything
you.
that was everything that was an affront and a face to your parents, because they were teachers, cut the cords with them as teachers, and just let them be parents. And karma will take care of the rest for them. Okay? And at some point, you may want to say to your mom and dad, I don't want you as teachers, I want you as my parents. And when you learn to include me and what I do, you'll understand why I think you're crappy teachers. But you don't have the guts to tell them that. You don't.
No. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You absolutely should tell them that, though.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. Stop being crappy teachers and start being parents.
Yeah. Mm.
Okay?
Yeah. Andrew, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. There's more that I want to talk with you about. So the relationship that you're in right now, is your husband a teacher or a spiritual person?
He's a very spiritual person, and he does teach yoga and a little, but not full time.
Mm-hmm. I want you to compare your relationship as a teacher, your parents' relationship as a teacher to you and your husband. I just want you to make a comparison and contrast here.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So part of your life is emulating your parents. Okay?
Yeah. Yes.
How do you break the mold of emulation?
I think like I try to teach with a deep honesty. Like I try to really just be myself and not give a presentation, you know, and also with my husband.
That's what your parents taught you, though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Emulation is not the original source. Emanation is your original source. You're getting out of an emulation and into an emanation process.
Okay.
Just bear with me here. Just try to make some pattern recognition when it comes to your current relationship and how it's limited by the way your parents taught you to be in a relationship as collective teachers.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see it?
No, I don't really. So, what are you trying to make me see? That I'm emulating
Your relationship, yes. And you're limited right now because there are many things your parents have said that you will never integrate into your relationship. Do you get what I'm saying? There are things your parents have told. There are things your parents have told you growing up that are so ingrained in you that you won't allow your personal relationship to evolve beyond them.
Okay. I guess it's so ingrained. I'm not seeing it. Yeah.
Yes, you're not seeing it. And until you really get rid of the temper tantruming child in you and really realize that you're not going to get any form of validation from them. Until such a time they are no longer your teachers.
Yeah.
And just parents.
So are you saying that I should step into the teacher role with my husband, or that I'm limited by that?
You're limited by that. Your whole relationship with your husband has been limited by the example your parents showed you for your whole life.
I see. Okay.
And that you and your husband have to come up with something that is brand new and will go against the grain of what both of you have been taught.
Okay.
Just for the sake of doing it. Okay?
Okay.
Just for the sake of doing. Okay?
Okay. Okay. Yes, that's wonderful. Thank you so much, Andrew.
You're welcome.
So
Okay.
honored.
This wasn't what you thought, was it?
Oh no, it's more than what I thought. I mean, it's just perfect. It's exactly what I need to hear right now, because I feel a big sense of freedom. And you know, actually, like you're giving me the permission, and I really value that. It's exactly what I need. Yeah, it really is.
All right. So I want you to start booking clients next week if you can.
Okay.
Okay. And I want you to sit down with your husband and throw out all the rules you've learned about business and being a psychic and yoga and everything, and hybrid them the ways your parents have said, no, never do that. You're breaking tradition. It's the great dream time awakening. Fuck them. Okay? Do it your way.
Oh my God. Okay.
You've got 20 years of being you've got 20 years of being a psychic experience behind you. You are qualified. Bing.
Okay. Bing.
You are qualified. Okay?
Oh, thank you, Mike. Thank you. Yeah.
You're so welcome. Okay?
Yes.
When you go back and listen to the show, you're going to hear me talking to you in layers and layers and layers. And that's the layers of how much control your inner child looking for validation is inside you.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Andrew. You're so amazing. I hear messages from you every time that you speak, even if it's not directly to
Thank
me.
you.
It's wonderful. Okay.
All right, darling. Thank you so much for calling in. We're going to move on to our next caller. Thank you so much.
Okay, great.
All right, that was a great call. Thank you, Darshani. Marisa, you are up next, unmuted with Andrew.
Hello.
Hello. How you doing? Where are you calling from today?
Hi. I'm calling from Greenfield, Massachusetts.
Greenfield, Massachusetts. Welcome to the show. What did you want to talk about today?
Well, I've been listening to you for a few years now, and I've had these burning questions, mostly related to dream experiences. So about 6 or 7 years ago, I had a few really lucid dream experiences, and I had a few physiological sensations, even more recently, that I, have thoughts about what it could be, but I've always wanted to ask you your thoughts on this. The dream experiences I had that were very lucid, it was like this very intense spinning sensation in my body, going into the dream, and then the dream itself, I could talk about if you want to hear about it, but
so hold on 1 second. So
sure.
Hold on. You said you experienced the spinning. Did the spinning start in your head and move? Did the spinning start in your head and move to your other body, or start in your stomach and move around?
I felt it in my head.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So you were having a full out of body experience.
Okay.
So it may not actually be a dream. It may be a dual location scenario.
Well, that's what it seemed like, because the first dream that this occurred with, I went to what it seemed like this other reality, and I I felt like I was trying to get my sea legs, like walking around this other reality, and I was in this open, what seemed like there was a yoga room, and it was like a health center, and people were coming in and asking for keys, and I kept on giving them keys, and then they left, and I went outside, and I was walking around and saw this sign that said Long Pond Road Health Center and Holistic Health Center. And then I heard in my head, it's time to go. And then I came back to my body, woke up, and was in my bed. And it was just, the craziest thing. So.
And how long ago was this dream?
This was about 6 or 7 years ago.
And you've had nothing like that since then?
I had one other experience like that about a year after that. And that dream or the experience was a little more abstract in that I seemed to be in like a void space. And there was all these brightly neon lights, and there was somebody talking to me. I just remember them saying something about green Terra and telling me about something, and then I woke up and had that same spinning sensation as I awoke. Other than that, I've had experiences of going into deep dream journey states, and having this intense bouncing, buoying sensation up and down my spine that seemed to bring about like a miraculous kind of
That's a Kundalini awakening,
Sweet.
but it's being blocked by something. It's being blocked by something in you. You're having the out of body experiences to force a Kundalini awakening, and you can't force a Kundalini awakening. First thing first. So what do you do?
I haven't been trying. I'm a massage therapist, Reiki, and do tarot readings.
So how many sessions a month do you do?
What's that?
How many sessions a month do you do?
Oh, how many clients a month? About 40 to 50.
Right. So what's going on is you're going through an awakening, and you're using a lot of your energy so that they can go through their sleep. And you have to save a significant amount more energy for yourself.
Okay.
Okay. That's step two.
You're breaking up a little here.
1 second.
Andrew, if you can hear us, you're completely cutting out now.
All right. I just got back home here, so I don't understand what's going on here. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yeah, you sound clear now.
All right. 1 second here.
Since we're on the topic, Marissa, are you using a headset mic?
I'm using a microphone, and headphones.
Okay. Can you move the microphone further away from your mouth? It's pretty strong.
Sure. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Thank you.
Is this better?
Way better. Thank you.
Okay, cool.
All right. So am I better now? I can always just pop into a different device here. All right. Am I breaking up or am I good now?
It sounds fine now.
All right. So your sessions at that volume a month is right on the edge of taking some of your light that's supposed to be reserved for you.
Gotcha.
I'm sure you've had 3 weeks go on where it's a hell of a week, but that last week of sessions just drains the fuck out of you.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be willing to say no to that. You have to be willing to say no to that last week.
Yeah.
And you don't have anyone that can cover your sessions, because that's pretty common. Anyone in massage therapy, because they're so independent, no one can take over your sessions if you're sick.
Exactly.
And then you have to come back and work triple as hard to make up.
Yeah.
So that's a vicious cycle you've got to figure out how to end, because you're in a full-on awakening, and there are parts of your body that are trying to force an awakening.
Yep.
Okay? Parts of you who ultimately know if they force the awakening, it'll never happen.
Exactly.
Which will keep you in the vicious cycle of massaging and spending your energy on people. Okay?
Yeah.
Are you in a relationship? Totally. Are you in a relationship? Are you in a relationship now?
I'm married, yeah.
And how are things going with the marriage?
Great. Yeah, it's been awesome.
Great, been awesome. That's 3 words. That doesn't actually tell me anything.
Well, what would you more specifically like to know?
Reality. What makes it great? What makes it awesome? And what are the other things great and awesome? What are the other things that don't make it great and awesome?
I think what makes it great and awesome is that we just have a really free flow between us. We're both massage therapists, so we both understand, what each other's work is. And, more than any other relationship I've ever had, there's just a real deep sense of respect for each other. There's just this intense, just closeness. And, when I first met him, I just felt this clarity of energy that I hadn't ever really felt with anybody else before. And, so it was a pretty quick engagement, I should say. And it's just one of those people that we can both be doing our own thing in the same room, and share that quality time together. And we really inspire each other creatively. We're both also dabble in art for fun and that kind of thing. So there's just a lot of fun that we get to share together, a lot of laughter, which was something I'd always lacked in previous relationships. So I'd say those would be the awesome things.
Okay, so what's the non-awesome things, the opposites of that?
Let's see. Lately, I just think we both have tendencies to overwork, and that can come in between having we also have a almost 2-year-old son. And we're both self-employed, which has been great because we can be with our son most of the time. And so I'd say just that I think we're both kind of overworkers and wanting to get to, a point of just greater stability in our lives and buy a house at some point or land. And I think that can kind of get in between just our ability to have like sensual time and connective time together.
Well, I think having a 2-year-old in the house, the full-time work, the overwork, the lack of sleep, and your connection, it has created a web of transference of energy between the two of you to make sure the child is taken care of. Now that innately is not a bad thing, but both of you are massage therapists. Ultimately, the kid is being entangled into 2 overworkers that are doing probably 80 sessions a month between the 2 of you guys, right?
Yeah, him a little less. He's just started, so started his own business. Well, you get a little less, but I get what you're saying.
You get what I'm saying. And this is actually creating the next level of intimacy. You've got a glass ceiling on your intimacy expressions between the 2 of you right now.
Yes.
And both of you have to try to break that glass ceiling. Having a 2-year-old, no matter what your jobs are, makes that hard.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
is there some place the child can go for a handful of days and you guys just go have a full-on massage sexcapade?
Well, we've been actually trying to plan that, but unfortunately we don't have any family that lives nearby, although, you know, we probably could bring him to my dad's in Maine and plan something like that. I'm sure that they.
Okay, you don't have any friends. You don't have any friends that can watch him for a day and a half.
He hasn't done an overnight yet. We do have friends in the area that could watch him for like a day, but it probably not an overnight. I'm not sure how they would feel with that.
And then you're never going to be able to be sexual because the kid hasn't been away yet. Okay.
Yeah, well, we do. We have some time, but it's not, you know, a full on.
It's not real. It's not real.
Yeah.
It's still through the medium of a kid coming home.
Yes.
It's still slam bam. Thank you, ma'am. There's no time for the build up of the romance, which is what both of you need.
Yes. It is that sensual piece. Yeah, for sure.
Correct. Okay. It is starting to become a trauma now. Okay.
Yes.
It isn't a trauma just yet, but it's beginning to become a trauma. And it's what will store charge and polarity between the two of you.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, it makes sense, you know, too, because I start to feel like a longing, you know, when we only have like a day off together, one day off together a week. And I just know that that's not enough. And I have just been thinking lately about, you know, how are we going to change this? Because we need to have a real, you know, intimate.
You guys have to strategize. You have to you have to truly strategize. And there are people out there that will watch your child. Right now, you're not actually putting any effort into it as a mother to go through the first group of separation anxiety.
Yeah.
Okay.
True that. Thank you.
That's the work for you. As for, do you need to cut down on sessions? No. You just need to have someone as a backup so that you don't have to triple your work the next week if you have to take off.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe make a setup between you and your husband saying, if you need off, you know, my husband will come and do the massage for you. Or if your husband needs time off, you'll go and do it for him. So you have more support when it comes to the work. Okay.
Yeah. That's
so
a
you
good
also
idea.
said you were doing tarot readings. Is that a general tarot set?
It's the Thoth tarot deck.
Okay. Are you familiar with the rune stones, the Norse rune stones?
Yes, I have a set.
I would highly recommend that you and your husband spend some magical time with that deck and add it into your repertoire of services, as well as you can carve your own rune stones. You can go to Home Depot and buy 1-inch marble tiles and a Dremel and carve it in yourself. Okay?
Yeah, I've actually made a set before out of clay.
Perfect. I'd say do it out of marble or tool, anything. You can get a Dremel and then use them in your actual hands-on healing too. Example, there's a rune stone for strength. I like to put the rune stone for strength on a person's tailbone and then combine my Reiki symbols with it. And then as I go up the spinal column, I'm actually doing a rune stone reading on their spinal column.
Cool. Okay. I've never heard of that before. That's cool.
That's because it's something I created, all right? Because there's no one else out there.
Well, thanks for sharing.
the follow through, because if I never did it in 40, 50, 100 sessions, I wouldn't have had the understanding of how effective it could be and then share it with anyone else.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay? There are plenty of clients that you know that are right on the spiritual level that if you're doing your massage work and they're laying face down and they can just see the rune stones in front of them, and as you're working, you're talking about the rune stones or the cards laid out, it's 2 in 1.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 in 1. And you can get it 3 in 1. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have a tarot deck, you have rune stones. Have you ever heard of the I Ching?
I have. I haven't really worked with it too much.
I would highly recommend that you go and pick up an I Ching book, a good translation, and get some and learn to do all 3 in a day.
Okay.
The rune stones are called the oracle of the self. Obviously, you know what tarot cards are. And then the I Ching is a way of helping you understand the patterns that are needed to be recognized around you. Learn to become a master at all 3 so that you can learn to do a rune stone draw, a tarot draw, and an I Ching draw. That's just 3 draws, and create a healing session that is mind motherfucking blowing. Period.
That is what?
Because you're
9
putting
what?
effort. Mind motherfucking blowing. Okay.
Oh, mind motherfucking blowing. Sweet.
Mind motherfucking blowing. I'm accentuating with colorful euphemisms for a reason.
Yeah, totally. I like it.
You've reached a stagnation in your magical ability.
Yes.
And you don't have the sex you had before to keep that magical ability flowing. Okay?
Yeah.
It's not about the daily intimacy. It's what's it doing for you for the week.
Right.
The month.
Yeah, building up that energy.
You know, there are certain intimate moments that fill you up for months.
Yeah.
Right?
It's true.
What is it going to take for you to sit down with a hubby and go, you know that thing you do? We need to do it.
Sounds fine to me. I can absolutely sit him down and talk to him.
All right.
So thankfully, we can converse on such matters. Yeah, cool. Thanks.
And the same thing goes to your husband. Have him pick up 3 different sets of divination. It doesn't matter what they are.
Yeah,
all of them works the same way. They all work mechanically the same way. There's just different definitions. It's about memorizing what the teachings are, and then once you've memorized the teachings, the rest is pattern recognition. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, that's with the tarot. I mean, I picked it up again recently after about, using them on myself and friends for 10 years and hadn't really ever done sessions for people. And after learning, I went through this, download and learning about more alchemy, and that really opened up my eyes to new levels of that deck. And now it's just been really profound, the type of readings, just what's come through for people who have been clients for years, who all of a sudden, are now into this stuff and wanted to get reading from me. So yeah, it's been really cool.
Now the next thing is you and your husband do essentially the same job. Is there anything that you do your husband does not do?
I do Reiki. He doesn't do that, although he wants to get attuned. But I do Reiki, and I think in terms of, what we've each learned, I think that's the only thing that I do that he doesn't.
So you both have massage license degrees?
Yes.
Okay. I want both of you to go out and take craniosacral level 1 and myofascial level 1. You absolutely both need to add that to your group. It's going to make you the 120 to just do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
And you can use that weekend getaway where you and your husband both go and get the same education. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be fun. We would love that. Yeah. I've been receiving craniosacral lately as a precursor to wanting to learn it. And I got the books and everything. So I've been planning on it, but really just wanting to feel into it and feel it first. So I know for sure that it resonates, but it does. I mean, it's been incredible, the work that I've been getting done on me. So yeah, so that's the next thing.
That's the next thing. All right. So one more thing. You're going to have to make a choice if you want any more children.
Yeah, we've already decided no.
You, I didn't say we.
True. Touche. Yeah.
We is not a decision. We is not a decision.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, totally.
So, what inside you, what part of you wants more kids? The spiritual psychic reader you.
Yeah. The part inside of me that sees, I've always seen myself with 2. And I think because having children kind of represents a level of within myself that is so grounded.
And a lot of work.
Yeah, it is a lot of work. I mean, and to be able to have multiple children and do it in a way that doesn't want me to tear my hair out, it's like, that's what stops me from wanting more children. I mean, the child I have now is pretty easygoing and awesome, but it's, it's funny because I started listening to you while I was pregnant with him. And yeah, I mean, the whole journey itself is quite the journey, and it was incredible. And I'm not sure it's one I want to do again.
So the
a lot
part
of energy,
you that
a lot
has
of work.
So the part of you who has spent years of seeing another child and desiring and fantasizing, you got to come to terms with that one.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Much like the other callers, never going to get approval from their parents, and she knew it.
Yeah.
Well, what's it going to take for the inner you to say the adult me cannot do another child right now? It has to end.
I mean, it'll just
because it is bleeding over in your unseen world, and it's trying to attract these young children who want to come and plant a spirit and create out-of-body experiences with you. Wow.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. You also have the potential of what I will call a baby whisperer. Okay.
Yeah.
You have this thing inside you. It's a special skill set inside your DNA you got from your mother's side of the lineage, that people who are having a tough time getting pregnant, you kind of have the fertility knack.
Okay? I wondered about that. Yeah.
Yeah. There's energy work that you can do if you can get comfortable of working in the more of the private spaces without any touching, outside the actual space, but close to that area, and learn to unravel knots. You can assist both men and women who are having tough issues getting pregnant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. So it'd be more just like an energy thing, not.
No, it's a physical thing. That, let's say you may work the shit out of the tailbone and then flip them over and go right in near the pubic bone area and just start pulling out knots of energy. Okay.
Gotcha.
It's a combination. Yeah. Right.
Gotcha.
Because the trauma was created in a certain way and it has to be unraveled in a certain way.
Yeah.
Because that trauma is stopping procreation.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's a form of physical and psychic surgery. Physical meaning the moving of those muscles, and then the psychic surgery is pulling the stuff out.
Yeah, totally. Okay.
Okay. And I would also recommend that you begin at least picking up a book on natural birthing, conscious birthing, orgasmic birthing, and make sure you read 1 or 2 books of those a year.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
1 or 2 a year. Got it. Taking notes.
1 or 2 a year. Okay.
Okay.
And then when it comes to you having more children, you just sit down with your inner self, the part of you that wanted it, and go, let's have a conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Let's have a conversation and come to terms with it. Because right now you're spending a lot of energy on the other world, still looking for that perfect child.
Yeah, I can sense that. I can feel it in my heart as like a grief.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can feel that. I can feel it. Yeah.
Find the right words to tell yourself that it's okay.
Yeah. Before we wrap up here, can I ask a galactic-ish question?
Sure.
So I had a reading from somebody not too long ago that resonated with me in levels, and she mentioned she did an Akashic Records reading. She said something about that I have been around since creation of the earth and that I'm a divine architect. And I was wondering if you could tell me more about that or confirm / deny.
Did she tell you what a divine architect was?
She didn't really, and I've since gotten a book that kind of goes into that a little more in detail, of it being, how we can all be a divine architect, basically, of our own lives and existences, and in that co-creation piece. But she also mentioned it in relation to having had a hand in assisting in the building of monuments or pyramids and certain, places like that. So she didn't really go into it.
There's what, 5 million still. So technically there's millions of people that are architects of all the
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So when psychics have to be vague and yet focused, they're still trying to give you, how do I put this? Just enough for you to have to take it to your own level of creation.
Yeah.
You have to put something into it for it to mean something. Now, you probably have heard me do similar things on the show, it's not necessarily because the person can't hold the information. Usually it's just because they can't retain it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were able to have a deeper understanding of what the divine architect meant, it could radically alter the way you see your husband, you see your child, so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
You're not ready to end those experiences.
Right, right.
What she was trying to indicate is there's a much higher level for you to work on, a much higher level. But if you go into that higher level, the lower things will appear much lower than they actually are.
Yes, I've experienced that previously. And yeah, I know what you mean.
And in other lifetimes, you went, as a psychic, went too far.
Yeah.
As a healer, too far into the other realms and find it hard to be here. That's why you're a massage therapist this time, grounded in your 30 clients a month. Okay.
Yep, I know. In that body work, man, brings me right back home. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's another thing she said too, is that I keep on going in and out of my records, and my guides and my records want me to chill the F out and stop trying to push things, which there's so I've been working on that whole, you are enough, I'm doing enough kind of thing, not overdoing and overachieving.
We also have to acknowledge the modern marketing of our genre, which is self-help, spirituality, some aspects of science and conspiracy are all put into one genre now. Because the conspiracy people talk about the energy draining, this consciousness people know that there are vampires out there, and they all have keys to share to each other. The only difference is their layer of perspective.
Right.
Okay. So in your particular journey, you've created a layer of perspective that keeps you in fast forward when it comes to advancing your spirit.
Yeah.
That's burning up your youth.
Yeah, totes. Yep.
So it's another conversation with the youthful you that's saying do, and go, well, guess what, Mr. Youthful Self? You've been caught by a Gaia ad.
Yeah.
Does the Gaia ad ever tell you to stop, to cancel your subscription and process?
No, of course not. They want you to keep on working on yourself. Keep on getting more things from them. Yeah, totally. Exactly.
Forever.
That's the trap. I want to enjoy this life, and that's what I've been unraveling lately, is just I can live joy and bliss. I don't have to overachieve. I don't have to overwork. I'm doing what I'm here to do. I know why I'm here. So, these are all things I've working on for so long. It's time to let down a little bit.
As you begin your next phase of journey, you have to look at the part of yourself that's the forced over processor, overworker. Now, this goes for everyone, and you've got to be willing to pick it apart.
Yeah.
Okay. And you'll discover it's a learned habit, not something you created. It's a learned habit.
Yeah. Yes.
And you got to unlearn it. And those are some of the hardest inner works to do, the unlearning.
Yeah.
Now, don't work too hard at unlearning, or you're still caught in the trap.
Exactly.
Right.
Oh, it's funny.
Spirit's got some fucked up ways for us to learn about unlearning.
I know, right? What's up with that?
It's their divine joke. It's what keeps them happy when we're making shitty choices. When we're making shitty choices and they're all pissed off. It's all right. We'll get them back when they want to unlearn this, huh?
Yeah. Oh my God. So funny.
All right, darling. I gotta let you go and move on to my next caller. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you so much. It's been an honor.
You're welcome. Okay, it's been an honor too. Hi, Robert. Let's spin the wheel of callers and see who comes on next.
All righty. Next caller is going to be Carrie May. Carrie, you're unmuted with Andrew.
Hi, Andrew. It's Carrie.
Hi, Carrie. How you doing today? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Michigan.
From Michigan. Welcome. So what did you want to talk about today?
Well, I was going to ask a question about sacred sexual space, and how do you know if it's opened or closed? And it kind of piggybacks, I think, a little off of the other two callers that you kind of touched on.
Okay, is this a general question, or is this something you're dealing with in your own sacred spaces?
Maybe a little bit of both that could help other people. I'm still learning to unravel that. If that, well, you've talked on other calls with other people about getting a partner, a sacred partner, and kind of opening up that space.
Mm-hmm.
Once those are
Mm-hmm.
kind of cleared and blocked, what more? Does more energy come in? Does more awakenings happen? You know, we don't really talk about sex in the media except what they feed us.
Correct. So I'll just use your form. I'm sure you've had some type of sexual experience that gave you buoyant pleasure for weeks in a row. Yes?
Maybe, but I don't remember,
No.
so maybe not.
Okay, so in your set of sexual experiences, is there one that immediately comes to memory, or is it a challenge to bring them up?
It's hard to.
Now we're talking sexual suppression.
Okay.
So when did you go through your sexual suppression and expression?
Expression when I was rebellious and young, and actually a regression when I kind of went through a healing process.
Have you become a prude?
Have I become a prude? I have in the past, yes. And my husband would justify that, yes, that is the case, but I'm trying to open up those spaces to maybe remove some of those blocks for my higher potential.
No, you have to do it for yourself. You can't do it for a higher self. That's still not giving yourself the authority to do it, because only you can do it. Only you can surrender to the experience. So if you were a prude in the past, you're still a prude now.
Okay.
That's the first thing to come to terms with.
What's
a prude? Is somebody that will deny experiences for themselves because they can't really experience pure pleasure for whatever has caused that in them. Okay. Sometimes it's religious teachings, sometimes it's trauma, sometimes it's just shitty people as the example around them.
Or a combination of everything.
Okay. Or a combination of all of those, correct. So who did you learn to be a prude from? My bet is it was the elder women of the psychic communities you grew up around.
Oh, how about just the prudy women that I grew up around? Not necessarily psychic.
They were psychic whether they knew it or not.
Okay.
Okay. And then the rebellious you said, put the double middle finger up and went and found a boy.
Yeah, okay. You got it.
And then what happened? Then what happened?
Then validation of self-worth, and then looking to seek for it.
Okay. Then what?
Children.
What was the next cycle?
Like the other call.
Which made you go, wait, sex made me have these kids? Wait.
You know, it's really hard and challenging to, you know, I spent some time with my husband this morning, and he says, I know you're tired this morning. I said, you know, it's hard balancing the work and then the kids and then this. And so we've been incorporating more sacred fires with each other and kind of talking. And I think that that's kind of burned away a little bit of stagnation on maybe both our ends.
It's you right now. It's not him.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, good thing I'm doing fires and prayers, eh?
Yes. I just want to put it this way. It's 65%. They'll say 70% you, 30% him.
All right.
His trepidation and hesitation is, I've gotten you turned down before, and then pow, you shut down on me for months. And that is a trauma to him. To any man who's just spent all this effort to do the right thing in sensuality and sexuality and outside of it to keep you elevated. And then pow, you shut down and you become a nag.
Okay.
Do you see yourself becoming a nag at times?
Yeah, absolutely.
That is an inner part of you that is traumatized with intimacy itself.
Mm.
Mm.
Yes. Mhm. See, secretly, I was hoping I got called, but then I hope I wasn't, because then you really hit some powerful things I needed to hear on the other callers too. So
Okay.
what is
All
a
right.
good thing to unravel some of that blockages so I'm not a prude?
So let's talk about your job, because it's your job that's affecting you right now.
Yep, probably. I work in finance.
What do you do for a job?
I'm a financial advisor.
So that means you have a lot of people's livelihood in your hands.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And when you have to hold your own livelihood and your own connectedness, a hollowness there.
Say that again. So I'm holding everybody
There's a
else's. I'm
hollowness.
leaving.
And you have to go hold your own. There's a hollowness inside. Okay? There's a part of you who has not been fulfilled sexually, sensually, socially, and spiritually all at once.
Agree.
And it's something you have denied so that you can hold the power of being this financial advisor for everyone else. In a sense, you have been using your sexual energies to be a powerful financial advisor energetically.
Yep.
Now, if you were to just leave your financial job, a lot of things would cascade and fall down around you. You have to learn to slowly dissect the parts of yourself that have given this job more valuation than your self-healing and self-nurturing that allows other people into your space.
Yeah, sometimes I build up, and I feel like I've allowed my husband, to also buy into this framework we've built up, and it kind of triggers fear with him when I've talked about leaving the job or doing something different.
Mm-hmm.
And
but
it kind of throws me
you
back
could
into.
You could easily use your own financial planning capacities to fund something for yourself as a business going forward. But you also haven't done that.
No,
Why?
I haven't.
Because there's a part of you that likes holding the power for everyone else. It's the lure of the financial industry. How do you get that lure of the financial industry to not have that potency of power over you?
I don't know. For what I can see is just becoming more independent financially myself to make different choices, so that
that's the financial. That's the financial advisor talking. That's not the authentic you.
Okay.
I'll be blunt. You've got to essentially say, I need to find a way to get 15 orgasms in a month, so I know what my real sexual energy is, because you're going to get more sales. You're going to get everything. And then you're going to realize how much power you're giving away to the job through your own sexual energy. And then you can learn to uncreate the job's ability to use your sexual energy to hold clients. Even though you're not having sex with your clients, you're using that high potency energy as a pheromone of attraction to keep them as clients too.
So that energy is going to my business and not my sacred bedroom.
Correct.
Okay.
So you got to make a committed effort of courage to surrender to the orgasm. It's very easy for women to have 9, 10 orgasms that last 4 to 5 hours without pain and pressure stopping it.
So when that cap on the top of the bottle gets released, that's good. That's going to open up more of what's being.
Correct.
I'm hiding stuff underneath that financial aspect, right? Like there's gifts and talents I'm not using because I haven't given myself permission to do anything different.
Correct. Okay. Now, you and your husband have been together for how long now?
16 years.
16 years. And how old are the children?
13, 11, and 7.
13, 11, and 7. So they can all go and stay at friend's house for the weekend if you manage it, right?
Yes, sir.
I want you to do that once a month. Tell each and every kid that once a month, all 3 of your asses are out of the house and not coming home to Sunday afternoon. Leave Friday night, come back Sunday afternoon.
Okay.
Do you have the courage to do that and hide what you and your husband are going to be doing?
And hide it?
And hide it
from them?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Courage. Now, let's say the first weekend those kids are out, all 3 of them. Are you really going to be able to just jump in the romp and have a brand new romp a new way? No. That's why you got to make sure you start doing this once a month as part of the journey where both of you can have multiple orgasms morning, noon, and night.
Okay.
So that the rest of those 3 weeks, you are in a discerning mode. I need that carnal energy in me, or the carnal energy is going somewhere else. Oh, look, I can track it now. Okay? If you can get them all out twice a month, even better.
Okay.
Okay?
So, and by going through this, I'll be able to heal myself and then heal the traumas with my husband, yes?
They will be revealed, and then you're going to want to seek an external healer for some of these subject matters. Like the prude, that's not hard to unlearn. That's just letting go and surrendering.
Okay.
The part of you who hasn't been allowing the deep pleasure, there is a traumatized you who I would highly recommend you get some myofascial release around the back of your tailbone just to start opening up the channels that are there so that your Kundalini can just open up in a moment's notice. What I believe has happened is over the years, there are certain higher quality clients that have come around and you have forced a Kundalini awakening and used your sexual energy, even though you weren't hitting on them in any way. You just used the potency of that energy to guarantee them as a client for years to come.
Interesting.
And as a woman, you're supposed to be doing that on your husband, and your husband's supposed to be doing it on you, but you're not doing it on your husband or yourself anymore. You're only doing it on clients.
How am I doing that on clients?
Innately. Because there's a part of you that's trying to make financial security.
Okay.
You're not hitting on them. You're just using the high frequency energy in your auric field to connect to them. Because without trust, how does a financial advisor work?
Absolutely. And I really
Your
cherish
job's all
those
on
relationships. Exactly.
Right. And in an unseen level, you're actually sending them tons of energy to maintain them as clients too throughout the year.
Okay. I do. I touch base with them. I feel like I'm a really good financial advisor. I actually care about my clients.
Yes.
So I need to take that level of energy that I'm putting towards the clients and redirect that into my home and my marriage.
We're going to retask it. So it's not just solely for that purpose. Retask it so it has directions towards you, fulfilling you, storing your energies. Okay.
Okay.
Let me probe a question. What's the longest sexcapade? What's the longest sexcapade you've had with your husband? Has it gone more than a couple days?
No, usually it's a day. He'll take a day off of work, and so will I.
Okay. And it's been like that for 16 years?
No, unfortunately. Maybe more so in the last 3 or 4. It's been better in the last than it has in the beginning. Much more authentic.
In the beginning, it's because you had kids and you weren't sleeping and the fears of all that?
Yeah, and all of the other crap that we ended up going through together. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And that's why the prude's there.
Okay. Is that
the prude is there
to keep? Go ahead.
It's a defensive mechanism to keep you financially secured in case you ever had to leave your husband.
And it's funny because my mom at one point said, make sure you marry somebody that, makes good money. And my comment was, I'm just going to go out and make the money. why do I need to rely on somebody financially? And money was a big thing in my household growing up because we didn't have any.
Right. So there's a person of you that still works in lack consciousness. That's really what you're healing. The sense of lack. And you have been overcompensating with the financial job. Okay?
Yep.
You got to indulge. I'm going to tell you to do a 90-day challenge of indulgence.
Okay.
Where you and your husband kind of like you ever seen those times where the big NCAA basketball teams are all playing and there's this big brackets of what's going on? You ever seen any of those?
Absolutely.
Well, I want you to make something like that for your sexual relations with your husband. So it's not about really win or loss. Okay. Round 1, hubby does the thing that he does well. Okay. Round 2, wifey does the thing she does well. Round 3 is time for something new. And write it down. And password protect it so the two of you can, you can get a shared Google shared document that's password protected that can start putting down what you want in bracket 4, bracket 5, bracket 6. Okay. Because it's going to help you separate what is a sexual want versus a sexual need versus a sexual desire.
Okay.
The prude is blocking all 3 of those from actually giving you high frequency completion energy. So you beat the prude by writing out your wants, needs, and desires and discovering, wow, we got to round 4 and that was thought was a want, but oh boy, do I desire this shit.
Okay.
Or I desired that and it really isn't what I wanted.
Okay.
And you realize the forms of confusion that are there when it comes to you sexually. Okay. In the past, what sexually completed you?
I don't know.
Come on, think.
Maybe an orgasm, that felt really good. And feeling that was it, but it became routine. It's very hard to be creative.
No, it's not. Not at all. Especially sexually.
Apparently not. Okay. Apparently not now.
If both people if both people are open, it happens. Okay. That's the way sex works. If one isn't,
so
one way.
Why as human beings, can I ask this question? Why as human beings were we given this gift to share the bodies and the energies? Because obviously we were meant to do that. Why is that?
Because we're beings made of light. And when we use our sexual organs, we are sharing a different form of our light.
Okay.
That may be there for procreation, may be there for ecstasy, or may be there for bliss's sake. Because bliss, like laughter, can heal decades of traumas in a moment of bliss.
And what does bliss bring?
It's there as... Have you ever been blissful?
What would you define as blissful?
Okay, I will use the sexual terminology. Having just had an incredible hour and a half long session where you both fall down in a pile of sweat and there's no need to speak or do, and there's a heart-based telepathy of completion.
Okay.
Bliss. All the wants, the needs, the desires, everything is flown out, and you can be in this moment together, or separate and together simultaneously. No limitation. The monkey mind, the mammalia mind has turned off, because that's what orgasms do. They shut it off and allow the spirit to be in, the DNA instrument of experience, and experience the tingles, the twitches, the things that remind you of the experience. Yeah.
I think I've tapped into that a few times, but obviously not to the extent that I'm able to.
because there's been 16 years of kids interfering with what it takes for you to actually build up to give yourself that energy.
Okay. Fantastic.
So work on getting the kids out. Friday afternoon, your ass is gone.
Okay.
7-year-old, you're not coming home till Sunday. I don't want you to call me. I had a nightmare. I'm coming home. No.
Sounds great.
Okay. Be firm. Be firm. Be firm. Okay.
All right.
Now, one last thing when it comes to your individuated sexuality. Now, because you have a variety of, we'll just say, issues relating to letting go of the sexuality, your journey to it is about not you creating the points of pleasure, but you being the center of the points of pleasure. And you have to be willing to create these things that aren't fantasies, but are things that will inevitably become a reality. Because there's a part of you who has this fantasy world, I'm going to do this, you're going to get this, and you get your sexual stimulation out of it. But in reality, you're not actually getting what you want, which is somebody creating the sole focus to elevate your sensuality into sexuality, into orgasmic states.
Okay.
That's why saying it like the basketball bracket, it's your turn this one to win the game. Okay? And the game is what? Deep relaxation, sexuality, sensuality, and going for that next level of surrender. Okay?
So allowing myself to get there without having the need to pull in anything that will usually get me there that I had in the past.
Right. And you may want to attack some of your sacred cows. You ever heard that term, sacred cow?
Absolutely not, but I use cows in my office all the time as an analogy. So hit me with it.
Okay.
Because this is
So a sacred cow is it's like in when you go to India, you're not allowed to kill a cow. They are actually protected by the government. So we all have subject matters that are sacred cows that we'll never touch. And one of them is your sexuality related to your work. So you may want to pull out a bunch of work papers or documents, put on the work clothes, and attack the sacred cow, your work environment, with your husband and doing sexual acts in and around that stuff. For the sole purpose of what does it bring up in the moment to me and what can I deprogram it? And make sure you tell your husband, I'm attacking the sacred cow. I may be acting fucked up, but I'm actually doing it to better myself.
Okay.
Okay.
So like I'm going to work and in that power suit, but I'm putting the power suit on in the bedroom.
Or in the house when the kids aren't there, so you can actually get into the zone of feeling like you're the financial advisor and having the financial advisor inner part of you have the orgasm. You are a multidimensional being, and you can give your programs individual orgasms that dispel them right away and allow you to be inside them. It's taking the program back over.
Okay.
Okay. Another thing is, can you work from home at all?
I can.
Okay. Well, there can be a time where the kid,
more of that.
your husband can take a day off and you're in work mode, but he's in I'm in turning you on mode for those 8 hours.
Okay.
That's attacking the sacred cow of your work. You have to be focused, blah, 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 blah. And he may come up to you during a call and put his hands on your shoulder and you just allow it. Or he begins to feel you up knowing full well when that call is over, he's going to say, let's get it on, with the intention of attacking the sacred cow. Okay? You have somebody that you trust. You have somebody that you are in love with. Use it to your advantage. Okay? This isn't just about the fantasy stuff. This is really about sexually healing yourself. And are you ready to go through a financial advisor's sexual healing? There we go.
Yeah, because I'm ready to open up to some other areas. I can't keep doing the hamster wheel anymore. I'm ready to do something different, and I'm using the tools the
Right.
course has taught to try to do that.
Yeah.
But I never
Right.
tied that to work.
Well, now you can.
Now I can.
Now you can. All right, John, I got to let you go and move on to my next caller. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Andrew.
You're welcome. All right, Robert, let's spin the wheel of callers.
All righty. Next caller is going to be Sean. We'll bring a guy into the mix. Sean, you're unmuted with Andrew.
Hey.
Hi, Andrew. This is Sean.
Hey.
Just kind of following up on the glaucoma treatment that I've been doing. I'm 2 weeks into juicing and just want to kind of get a check-in on how I'm doing. I just went off the drops also just now.
So we had a private session together?
Yes, we had a private session together, I think in July.
All right, so you'll have to, so what was going on with you? I've had a lot of sessions since then. I don't really remember. Go ahead.
So I've had glaucoma. I was on Timolol, and you suggested I do juicing with suppositories and basically do as much.
Okay, yes. How has that helped you?
I just went off the Timolol yesterday. I'm feeling a lot better today. It's kind of 2 weeks into it. So it's basically, I feel like sometimes I'm kind of taking too much, you know, when you kind of get a little chills when you've had too much. So I kind of back off a little. I've done the colonics twice. So just moving along. I think I've been taking as much as a cola, like 2 big handfuls of juicing a day.
Of cannabis?
Of cannabis, of the cannabis, of the raw cannabis.
Okay. So you're juicing the raw cannabis for your glaucoma, and you've been doing it for 2 weeks, correct? Yeah, you need to do it for 6 straight weeks. At the end of the 2 weeks, you also need to do a lot more colon cleansing. You need to be doing at least 8 to 10. You have much more to clear out there. Now, the Timolol will take another 90 days really before it's out of your system.
Okay.
So it's going to be continuously affecting you. Now, have you noticed any difference in joint pain, body freedom, anything to that effect?
I would say I am feeling less of the joint pain and a bit more energy. Waking up at 2, 3 in the morning with energy, and then kind of crashing. I've been doing the and the Timolol. It's kind of, I was getting to the point where I was kind of breaking through the Timolol a bit with the energy, so dropping it off, I think I'll have another boost. I had a good exercise session this morning.
So you're still looking short term, and you have to re-strategize your perspective to see you over a span of several months, not several days. And because you've been on a journey with glaucoma for as long as you've been on, and you know that vision is going to be a challenge for you, there's a part of you that's using the short-term vision to see what success am I getting, what success am I getting. It's creating a form of expectation inside you that is just natural doubt and hesitation. Is, can I heal this or will I go blind? Can I heal this or will I go blind? Can I heal this or will I go blind? And this is a pendulum that's going back and forth in you. And that pendulum will lose strength the more you're able to balance your internal colon cleansing. Did I also tell you to do a candida cleanse?
No, I did get some aquaflora, and
did I say to do a candida or parasite, the Dr. Holder Clark parasite cleanse?
No. So I'll look into that. What was that again?
Yeah, you need to Dr. Holder Clark's parasite cleanse.
Okay.
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 And those are just things that, you should do twice. Everyone should do twice a year.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what is that going to do? It's going to give you a lot more opportunity for rapid healing of wounded parts of the body. Because right now there's all these different parts of your body that are demanding healing, and you don't have enough healing energy to go around. That's why juicing the cannabis plant over a period of 6 weeks gets the endocrine system back into the situation where it can store up energy instead of robbing Peter to pay Paul. And a lot of times when things like glaucoma take over, it is because you've been robbing Peter to pay Paul internally in your own energetics. For whatever reason, and traumas, life issues have gone on. The next part of the journey for you is incorporating a longer-term strategical vision of your life that over the next several weeks, it's not about one exercise, it's not about one thing in this, it's how 10 of them affect me over a period of a month. So you have to stop this seeing little and seeing you big. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I did get a tent, and I've got a second grow going. And I've, been going through a big learning curve on growing, indoor growing. And I think I'm starting to get the hang of it. And so I've got a.
Is it fun?
I'm really enjoying seeing it kind of come together. I'm having a good time, and it's
okay.
And
find more ways to make it pleasurable then, because you are consuming this stuff. You're growing it in fun and consuming it in fun. That's many more layers of healing that are going on in you. Okay. Be willing to pray with your plants. Pull out the contract revocations and start reading to them inside the grow box.
Right. Yeah.
Okay?
I have recordings, and I've been leaving it out there, not consistently, but
yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds like this is a long-term. It's not just going to be done in 6 to 8 weeks. Even it's something that I even keep on with
at the end of the 6 weeks, you were supposed to stop and go through an evaluation of how it's helped you and determine if you needed to have higher doses of CBDA, THCA. That's the non-psychoactive version. So when you have people with glaucoma, the degeneration or macular degeneration of the eyes, meaning you don't have enough stem cells in your body to keep the eyes in healthy states. And to be in stem cell creation, your body has to be relaxed, out of pain. Otherwise, your body's not creating stem cells. It's creating all the other things the body needs to deal with chronic pain. Mm-hmm. So when you have juiced cannabis for a period of 6 weeks, the endocrine system, which determines if the body's in pain or not, goes into relaxation mode and produces large amounts of stem cells, which then will have an opportunity to slow down the macular degeneration. Then the other aspects of cannabis, the triterpenes and all the other stuff that's in the cannabis plant before it's been heated, which is THCA and CBDA, those will begin to trigger the body to heal the cells around the eyes who are also heavily traumatized from the macular degeneration. So this is to treat the whole body so that it can go into stem cell production.
Okay.
Glaucoma still comes from macular degeneration is faster than the stem cells that you can produce. That's the advanced forms of macular degeneration. There's a whole bunch of other sciences behind it, but also many forms of glaucoma are misunderstood. Some forms of glaucoma are actually insulin deficiencies. Do you have any forms of diabetes in your family?
No, but I do have a history of glaucoma. My mom has got it, and also my grandmother had it.
So there are people that are borderline type 1, type 2 diabetics. They just never been diagnosed.
Okay.
So your life, what has been your challenge with sugars, alcohols, sweets, etc.? What does that do?
Well, I did for a while when I was younger. I had huge acne problems, and I realized that it was alcohol, meat, and
hormones. Right.
Like big cyst acne just threw me out of whack.
Yep.
And then they put me on minocycline, and I was, my whole system whacked after that for years.
Fell apart. They created that recipe knowing full well that that's what it would do to you and tens of thousands of other children.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Because there's a certain types of genetics that cannot take that. Now, all these years later, your glaucoma is because of the way they treated you with your acne.
Yes, I understand. Yeah, that makes sense. That's what I'm kind of realizing.
Okay. Did I tell you about harvesting some of your cannabis and do cannabis baths with it?
Baths? Yes, you talked about that. I wasn't sure if it should be the THCA or just the
activated. So basically, you just get an ounce of decent quality cannabis, whether you grow your own. You want it to be dried first. Then you're going to put it in a grinder or cut it up with a knife as small as you can get it, but not into powder. And then you're going to take something like 10 ounces, 20 ounces of coconut oil and put that cannabis into the coconut oil at a low heat on a double burner, a steamer, and then put a thermometer and get it to 220 degrees for 45 minutes. That will create what's called a decarboxylation, which converts THCA into THC. And then what you're going to do is just let that simmer in the coconut oil and then take it off the burner, stick it in the refrigerator. It'll turn back to coconut oil that has all that THC in there. What you're going to then take out a third, fill up a bathtub with as hot water as you can comfortably do, put in about 5 pounds of Epsom salt, and then add the oil on top. Now, what this Epsom salt does, keeps the oil floating on the surface and allows you to refill hot water into the bathtub so that your body's constantly absorbing this oil through the medium of the Epsom salt for as long as you can be in there, 3 hours, until you're turned into a prune, okay? Okay?
Yeah.
And that 1 ounce of weed should give you 5 to 6 baths. Now, there are times that I would highly recommend anyone in heavy, heavy stress that they get that super hot water, they make their cannabis, they put the whole thing in there, the whole ounce, all of the coconut oil, because and stay in there as many hours, because like I said, you can empty the water up, just make sure that the oil, there's enough Epsom, keep adding more Epsom salt so the oil stays on the surface. So go in for 3 hours, get out an hour, allow your skin to get back to normal and get back in. That water will stay good for 2 days, okay? So it's not a waste. And so first thing first, your dermis is the largest organ in your body, and it's directly connected to your gallbladder. So when you do these cannabis baths, you are directly feeding the gallbladder the THCA to make sure that whatever the gallbladder is producing everything at high levels. And then when the gallbladder is overloaded, it goes right into the intestinal tract, bypassing your blood, and then going directly absorbed bypassing the liver and going directly into the blood. Okay. So it is a way to reach extreme body relaxation. And that's what you need right now. Extreme body relaxation.
Thank you.
Do you have a bathtub?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I bet.
Is it a big enough? Is it
big?
Is it comfortable size for you?
Their bathtubs are generally small for me. I'm about 6'1". But
all right, so you can go out to garage sales, estate sales, and find some of those old school giant bathtubs, or just make one, man. Just make one yourself.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I will do that. The bath actually I have is actually for me, and I just don't take enough baths. So.
Well, what is it going to take for you to give yourself the opportunity to have 4 baths a week, even if there's no cannabis in it? Because you could just throw essential oils in there. Yeah, okay. That's an hour where you're forcing yourself to disconnect.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. And if you have a resistance to taking baths, it's really the resistance to disconnecting. It's not about cleanliness. Right. Clean. Okay. Okay. You have to see that resistance to letting down as something keeping you ill. How are you going to heal if you can't let down?
Makes sense.
Okay. So when you combine the colon cleansing, the parasite cleanse, and all the other things that I talked about, and giving yourself these deep relaxation, that's when the internal juicing of the cannabis over a period of 6 weeks, because the body's storing it, you'll have a massive creation of stem cells. Let's say that during that 3 hours in the bath where you actually let down and are virtually in a near sleep state, or get out of the bath and go into a sleep state, your body will produce so much stem cells that for the next 3 to 4 days, you will feel vastly different.
Okay.
And then getting your body back onto that regular cycle of producing your own stem cells. Because you don't have many alternatives when it comes to healing glaucoma. Now, there are stem cell companies in, not Mexico, in South America, Panama actually, that will do direct stem cell injections to the eyes, and they have been able to. But know that those. So there are stem cell companies in Panama who can cure glaucoma with stem cells.
Okay.
But you have to understand where those stem cells come from. They get extracted out of the umbilical cords of babies that have just been born, and extracted out of fetal sacs of babies that have been aborted.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want that in your eyes?
No.
No. And if people knew where they were coming from, illegal trade, they would never be a part of that service.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So your journey is learning how to relax again. Even if it means you're going to be blind in 10 years. Because you're not okay with that. You're still worried about it. Come to terms with it, and you'll have better opportunity of not going blind. Because you're going to be an active part of understanding what it means, macular degeneration, glaucoma.
Right.
And there are natural ways to convert it too. Everything can be unraveled with effort, courage, commitment, and discipline, which are not mystical.
Right. And so after the 6 weeks here, you said take a break, and in that break,
take a 2 week break, and look at your swelling, look at your daily pain rates.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you got to remember, don't let yourself be in pain. That's a journey of the man of the past. The man of the present and the man of the future has to recognize chronic pain for what it is and no longer avoid it. Otherwise, macular degeneration and degeneration of other parts of the body are going to take over more and more and more.
Okay. I understand. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, brother, I got to let you go and move on to my last caller. Thank you so much.
You bet. Enjoy. I appreciate all the help. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, man. All right, Robert, let's spin the last wheel of callers for the day.
Alrighty, that was a great call. Jackie, you are now unmuted with Andrew.
Oh my gosh, hello.
Hello, Jackie. Where are you calling from today?
Oh, I'm calling from Oregon.
Oregon. Welcome to the show. What did you want to talk about today?
Oh my gosh, I just want to thank you. And I was just sitting here crossing my fingers, hoping, yes, it's me, please. I have so many things. Let me calm myself down here.
Yes.
I think
breathe
really
in through the nose, out through the mouth. Breathe.
Yes. So I have a couple things. I have a lot of things happening in my dream space throughout the years. I feel like I do a lot of work there. I do a lot of out of body things. I also have a lot of I feel myself going out. I feel the tingling. I feel the pulling on all different areas. So I've had a lot of awakening happening through that. Sometimes I come up against it's like an overlay, being in one place and another at the same time, feeling entities or things that like suck and pull. So not pleasant, waking up with a lot of fear, wondering if this is just actually fear leaving my body. So I have that piece. I also had some questions on transitioning out of work as a massage therapist, doing more energy-oriented work. I'm a shamanic journeyer. I do shamanic soul paintings for people. I'd love to be supporting myself as an artist. But really the whole spiritual path and direction, trying to integrate sort of all of those as
so let's
my
talk.
purpose.
Let's talk about being the massage therapist. How long you been doing it for?
This is my 10th year, and I've had a lot of body problems that from day one.
Okay. What is your average number of clients per month?
Probably 45-ish, maybe 50.
That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Okay.
And what are you charging?
I charge $80 an hour.
Ouch. And where are you at?
That's the standard going rate here in Oregon.
Oh, I know. That's what in Oregon. That's right.
McMinnville.
Unless you want to change the nature of your service, where you're not just a massage therapist, you're a massage therapist with all these other letters after your name.
Yes.
Because you should be in the $150 an hour as a healer. So you're literally making half the amount for every session you should.
Well,
and this is why you're divided into what I call a trident of all the things you could be successful at.
Yes.
Well, the trident still has one base, which is the you, who's the practitioner for the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So the practitioner you has many, many more skills. And what you need to do is bring all the skills into one brick and mortar building, place, and space. Because it's not just about doing sessions. Yeah, no. You need a brick and mortar. Go say that again.
Oh, no, I said, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. So having a single brick and mortar space that has the full menu of services.
Mm-hmm.
So have you taken any other classes other than just massage therapy?
Well, the continuing ed and what I've really actually done, I'm a Reiki master. I also did the shamanic, my own shamanic training on my own, but I also am taking shamanic healing work, thinking that would be a great way to implement more energy in a session with the body. Pardon me?
But none of those things you have just said has raised your hourly rate.
No, because because it's sort of like got to stay in the standard in the office where I'm at with other people sort of thing. No. When you have more services, you charge more because you are able to bring all of those to bear on a single client. It's very easy to do cranial, sacral, myofascial, and deep tissue massage all in the same hour and be extremely effective with it and blow the minds out of every client that comes there on all the other people who just do the one massage and are conforming to the old way of doing it. Okay? Right. Another example, massage therapists beat their bodies up and refuse to use vibration-based machines to make their jobs easier. You can go and get what's called a vibratory mat and have somebody lay down on it, so that they're face up, do the upward body massaging as their back is getting vibrated for 30 to 40 minutes, then turn them over, and all of a sudden they're putty. They're putty. Yeah.
This stuff has been out for decades, and massage therapists are just, idiots when it comes to a business model making their job easier, because they think you've got to grunt and groan through every hard muscle, when a simple vibratory machine, 3 minutes from that, would be equivalent to 2 hours of breaking one spot down. I'm sure you've run into those people like that, right?
I have, and that's why the tools of the silicone cups and gua sha have assisted me, because I really thought I was going to have to leave the business because I was having so many things. So Are you familiar with something called the Hitachi Magic Wand? No.
Okay, so about late 1986, 87, the Hitachi company created something that was going to be revolutionary for the massage world. And it's a single vibratory tip head that's spinning at around 10,000 RPMs, but a very short throw. So it's extreme levels of vibration. Well, it just so happens the Japanese porn world took it over, and they didn't want to market it anymore. Okay? Now, from that, all these other massage tools have been created for massage therapists, but the masturbation community has taken them over. That is the reason the people aren't using the Hitachi wand. You can go pick up a Hitachi wand for $90, and it will cut through the most tightest body in like minutes. And then you'll get to go in and do your hand stuff and look like the magic person.
Wow. Okay.
Learn to incorporate some brand new technology. So it's not about the hour session of you using your elbows and your hands of steel and your this
I'm
or
done
your
with
that.
Yes.
Done with that. Okay.
Yes,
Even
done with
consider
that.
take on an understudy, so that instead of one person working on you for the hour, 2 people are working on you for 90 minutes.
Well, I guess I've wondered if I'm actually supposed to be transitioning out of massage and doing more art or making it more energetic, say with like, you know, using like the idea you gave the other massage therapist I loved, using the cards and using drumming and, you know, working in that realm a little higher level is what I see. But
if you're not going to raise your rates, you are going to backfire over and over and over again.
Oh, okay. Okay.
$80 a session means 45 to 60 clients a month to maintain what type of living on that much?
Oh, survival. Yeah. No.
There you go. You can't live in survival anymore, which many massage therapists end up doing, living in survival. So put aside a few $100 to go buy technology, like an infrared mat.
Okay.
Oh, okay. You can go get an infrared mat, and you're working on them, and the whole time the infrared mat can be around their legs. And then when you go to work on their legs, they're super soft. You put the infrared mat under their back while you're doing their legs. Okay.
Okay.
Or you can get 2 where you never have to move them. You get 2 infrared back and just the legs, and you just turn it on and off at will.
All right.
Okay.
Great.
Okay. Now, are you in a dedicated facility where they limit what you can do?
Well, I am in 2 places. Possibly, but it depends, I guess. What I'm going to say no. If I can offer those services there, in one I have to. What is limited there is the income really that I can charge in both places. One I'm more sole proprietor, the other I get a commission. So.
And are they sending you all do they send you all the clients?
Well, there's other therapists that, you know, we get funneled to a couple others. So sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Okay. So at the end of the month, where do your 40 come from?
My repeat clients, a lot of them. And then if they're just really depending on if they were a request or if it fit in the time slot or if it fit for on more relaxation versus somebody who wants a deep tissue. That's sort of how it's divided.
So the level of and how many practitioners are at that space?
So in one there's actually 4 of us, but 3 generally working in one day, and the other one there are 2 of us, and we're most of the time alternate days except for one day a week. So it's a mix. Yeah.
And how long is the commute for you for these 2 places?
One is 5 minutes, the other is 45. And the clinic, it's a naturopathic clinic that I've been at for 10 years, in the town where I live, and the other one's outside of town.
And you think that one is not open to change?
No, I guess I think they would be, but I think for me, I've been stuck feeling like I need to get out of massage because of all of the body things I've dealt with and the pain, and or work into something different, like wanting to be supported as a doing my artwork. So it's not necessarily just them. It's also me. Okay.
So you've now brought up this artwork 4 times in this conversation. And if you leave to go into art, you're going to really have an unfortunate time.
Yeah.
Unfortunate time. Like the other caller, artwork for you is the inner tantruming person not getting what you're wanting out of your life. You're never going to support yourself on your art. Okay? Come on. You're not going to make the same amount of money. You're going to have to sell how many paintings or art pieces every month for a year? Are you going to sell 20 pieces a year, 40 pieces a year? No, not right now. Not at the beginning. Okay. So that's art is your self-defeating. Keep art as your hobby of joy.
Okay.
The next thing is sit down with the naturopath, sit down with the other person, make a damn business plan and say, I want to modernize. I want to figure out ways that I don't have to hurt these shoulders and arms every day and offer some alternate services. Okay.
Okay.
Like having two people work on a single person for not an hour, but for 90 minutes.
Okay.
And make that in menu services. And why are you saying this? Because you can take the people that are super tight and give them immediate results.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't.
How many clients do you run into that are so tight that you know it's 3 to 4 massages just to break up their lower back?
Oh yeah, a fair amount, and yes.
Right. So if one of you is using the vibration machine, the Hitachi magic wands on the super tense spots, while the other person's doing deep tissue around the neck, you're going to have full euphoric releases.
Yes.
Okay. The other thing is, for about $3,000, actually for about $1,800, you can go and buy an infrared sauna. Okay, and you can stick that in the office. They just need to take a shower right afterwards. So if they're willing to put a shower in there, and you can go and buy an infrared sauna, that means somebody can go in the infrared sauna for an hour, come out like liquid putty, and be on your table, and your massages are easy now.
Okay, so sounds like my path is still with massage and healing. I just need to add some more higher tech tools to continue on with that and stop hurting my body.
A way to create passive income, so that once you say, because you're going to tell these people we're raising our rate. Okay, and you got to explain to them why. And these are the things we want to do, and to justify raising our rates, but to give them other options to still spend at that price point.
Okay. And then
because
I guess
if a client's willing to come in and do an hour on an infrared massage, or an hour in infrared mat, or half hour in infrared mat and an hour in massage, you're going to discover a rapid change in how you can actually affect your client's life. And them going, oh my God, so different. Okay. And then you can do what? Sell infrared mats and infrared saunas to the clients. Make commissions there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, okay, I see that model with other things, but I never really thought about it as a, massage therapist, because I just have kind of been maintaining.
Unfortunately, that you guys think too small.
Yeah.
If they really give you some business classes, really business classes of how to make your business stronger, because the massage industry is still in the Stone Age. It's still in the Stone Age. Okay, and it shouldn't be. There's so much great technology out there that, when used in combination, makes your job easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
Okay. That's what I want.
You just got to be willing to market it. Say, do it. Come experience it.
Okay. That's awesome. I had never really thought in those terms. I've just used my other sort of tools that help me be more effective. But that's still at a lower level. Yeah.
Now, as for the shamanic work, this is where I'm going to tell you to invest into your own brick and mortar space, so that you can tell the naturopaths, I want to advertise meditation classes, shamanic healing classes to your clients.
Well, I've been considering doing that.
Well, stop considering and just do. stop considering and just do.
Okay. I guess it's a lack of busting through my own limiting beliefs of not having enough skill, the not enoughness
You already have
piece
it.
of that. And if they're not
You already
willing
got it.
to, yeah.
And if those other people that aren't willing to work with you, it's time for you to go and make your own.
Okay.
You can't survive at an $80 an hour rate anymore. You just can't survive that way.
No, I've been hanging on for, you know, barely for far too long, forever, really. So
Correct.
So
So when
space
you
that
when you
encompasses.
go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, you're saying a space that encompasses all of these things, like a healing
Yes.
art center in a sense.
Yep. Whatever your creation's going to be.
Okay. Wow. That's been my hesitation of stepping out on my own because I've struggled for so long just, you know, with the overhead and clientele and the up and down of the business. Yeah. So fearful of like
start with an infrared mat. Should be about $70 for the small ones on Amazon, to $115 for a bigger one. You can go and get the Hitachi Magic Wand for about $90. Okay, get a real one. Make sure it's not a masturbatory tool. The original Hitachi Magic Wand. Okay.
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 Yes.
And then get over with people are going to come in. What is that? And just know the porn industry's taking those things over. It's okay. You can also get the ones that you hold two hands on, and they're really big. They're for lower backs. Those are about $80. There are a whole bunch of other advanced vibratory massaging tools that you need to learn to incorporate into your work. Okay. Okay. Infrared saunas. If you've never done one, go and do one. You could be making $60 an hour on an infrared sauna. Okay.
Okay. Awesome.
It's very easy to get another $60 out of them if they do back-to-back sessions.
All right.
So instead of a $180 massage, you're getting a $120 2-hour. Where we're really only working one of those hours.
Yes. Yeah. I like that idea. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Learn to increase your passive income too.
Okay.
All right, darling, I got to let you go. Thank you so much for calling.
Oh, Andrew, thank you for picking up, and I appreciate everything you do. And so I'm learning so much. So thank you so much.
You are so welcome. Thank you. All right, Robert, that has been a really fun show.
I definitely agree. There was some great callers today.
Yes. All right, everyone. I just want to remind you, tomorrow for our webcast, I will be joined by Chris Chappelle, where we'll be talking about Qigong. Also, reminder, coming up in October, we have our retreat in Barbados, where you'll be learning the Qigong standing practices, along with using the Universal Citizens Healing Systems, Unified Health System, where you'll be able to experience flotation chambers, pulse electromagnetic therapy, and all the other wonderful things that can allow you to go into an immersion-based healing. All right, everyone, we'll catch you tomorrow for a great show. Thank you so much.